A few weeks ago, I shared a video on how to know if you have PCOS. Some of the signs I spoke about in that video were excess body hair, irregular periods, and skin tags. And today, I'm going to be giving you a 5-step plan to reverse it. Because yes, PCOS is a lifestyle condition. It is caused by diet and lifestyle choices, and it can be reversed by diet and lifestyle choices. Now, there is a genetic component to it. Some women are more likely to develop PCOS, but genetics only load the gun. Lifestyle pulls the trigger. And the silver lining to that information is that with a few small diet and lifestyle tweaks, you can reverse PCOS and the associated symptoms. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kate. I'm a certified health and nutrition coach. I post videos twice a week here on YouTube talking all things insulin resistance, sleep, weight loss, and more. So if you're ready to take control of your metabolic health, make sure to click that subscribe button. And you can also find me on TikTok and Instagram, where I share new posts every single day. So if you haven't already watched my video on how to know if you have PCOS, I suggest checking that video out first. Because in that video, I talk about what causes PCOS and I explain it a bit more in detail. But the short explanation is that PCOS is caused by insulin resistance. The 3 main symptoms that define PCOS, having an irregular period, ovarian cysts, and high testosterone, are all directly caused by insulin resistance. So by addressing insulin resistance, you're addressing PCOS. And you can reverse not only the main symptoms, but also the secondary ones. And look, reversing PCOS doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to completely overhaul your lifestyle. You don't have to go on a restrictive crash diet. The steps I'm gonna outline in this video are simple changes you can make. And these changes will have a big difference on your insulin resistance and your PCOS. So with that, let's get into the 5 steps. Number 1, reduce fructose. Fructose is a simple type of sugar. It makes up 50% of table sugar, but it is also found naturally in some foods such as fruit. And fructose has to be processed directly by the liver in order for the body to use it. Glucose, which is another type of sugar, does not have to be processed by the liver. It can be used immediately for energy. Now, fructose actually has a lower glycemic index score than glucose does, meaning that less insulin is needed to process it. So you might think that this would make it better for PCOS, because when it comes to reversing PCOS and reversing insulin resistance, the key is keeping your insulin low. So the less insulin you need, the better. But because it is processed by the liver, it actually reduces insulin sensitivity and can contribute to insulin resistance. High-dose fructose can induce intestinal permeability, oxidative stress, inflammation, and fatty liver, and therefore causes damage that leads to insulin resistance. The main source of fructose in our diets is sugar-sweetened beverages and fruit juice. These drinks allow us to consume massive amounts of fructose that we wouldn't be able to consume from whole food sources alone. The average American consumes between 85 to 100 grams of fructose every single day. To put that into perspective, that is equivalent to 25 teaspoons of sugar. Now, of course, pop is a huge part of the problem. A bottle of Coke has 35 grams of fructose, but fruit juice is also a concern. A cup of orange juice has 14 grams of fructose, whereas eating one whole orange only has 6 grams. And that really puts into perspective how much excess you can consume by drinking the juice versus eating the food. Opting for the whole food version instead is always going to be the better option than drinking the juice. And if you want to help your PCOS even more, opting for low sugar fruit instead of high sugar ones is even better. Number 2, drink apple cider vinegar. Diluting a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in water and drinking it before a meal can also significantly help with PCOS. Apple cider vinegar helps to improve insulin sensitivity. It speeds up how fast glucose is taken from our bloodstream to our cells. One study found that drinking apple cider vinegar before a meal made participants 34% more insulin sensitive following the meal. So especially if you're eating a meal that's high in carbohydrates, drink apple cider vinegar beforehand. Number 3, eat carbs last. Studies show that when you eat the carb-heavy portion of a meal after you eat protein, fiber, and fat, the insulin response is significantly lower. So for example, if you're having salmon, green beans, and sweet potato, eat the salmon and the green beans first, and then eat the sweet potato. Although I will say that having all of the foods together does have a lower blood sugar and insulin response than if you were to eat the carbohydrate portion, in this case the sweet potatoes, first. So use this hack when you can, but if it's not convenient, don't stress. You don't have to do this every time you eat. Number 4, reduce carbohydrates. So this kind of ties in with the eating carbohydrates last portion, but just taking it that one step further. Low carb diets have become extremely popular in recent years, particularly for weight loss, but also for PCOS. And there's a good reason for this. Reducing carbohydrates significantly improves your insulin sensitivity. One study had women with PCOS follow a low carb diet for 6 months. By the end of the study, all of the women's fasting insulin had lowered, and so had their free testosterone. Multiple women even became pregnant by the end of the study, despite previously struggling with infertility. And this was just over 6 months. The reason that reducing carbohydrates helps to improve insulin sensitivity and PCOS is because carbohydrates are the macronutrient that stimulates insulin the most. Eating carbohydrates requires a lot of insulin to process, while protein and fat require a lot less, if any at all. So if you're trying to keep your insulin low, it makes sense to limit the foods that stimulate it the most. Now, when I say low carb, I'm referring to eating less than 100 grams of total carbohydrates in a day, although eating less than 50 will have a quicker effect. But do what works for you and what you can stick to. Because at the end of the day, if you can't stick to a very low carb diet, it's not gonna help you long term. One review paper looked at several studies where women ate less than 45% of their total calories from carbohydrates. So this is still significantly more than 50 grams in a day. And they found that compared to a typical higher carb diet, insulin was lower, hormonal balance improved, and menstrual cycles were more regular. So if you do want to eat more carbohydrates, make sure to implement step 2 and 3, but reducing them can help a lot. And finally, number 5, build muscle. Now, I do think the diet and what you do and don't eat is the most important component when it comes to reversing PCOS, but exercise can help as well. Building muscle is beneficial for 2 reasons. The first is that when you're exercising, your muscle cells are able to absorb glucose without insulin. And the second is that the more muscle mass you have on your body, the more room your body has to store glucose. This is because our muscles are where most of the glucose in our body is stored. So more muscle mass and you have more room for glucose to be stored, and your insulin sensitivity will improve. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Now, if you do have PCOS and there's anything you've done to improve it, please let me know in the comment section down below. I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your success stories and what worked for you. And if you have a friend or a family member who's currently struggling with PCOS, make sure to send them this video. If you did enjoy this video, you might also enjoy my video on how to know if you have PCOS and 11 signs to watch out for, which you can check out here. If you want to catch up on my most recent upload, you can find it here. And if you want to check out my coaching programs, including my 7-day insulin resistance masterclass, which also applies to PCOS, you can find that here. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.